I think it is first a kind of prophecy dream in my life. So it is rather interesting. Maybe it is a kind of mystic. Maybe it is just intuition. I don't know.
Greetings, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Dreamscapes. Today we have our friend Kirill from, I'm going to try this here, near Moscow. It is Tveya. Is this close?
Tver. The last sound is R.
R. Tver. Very nice.
Yes, exactly.
Very nice. And well, would you like to say a few words about yourself and your website? And we'll start there.
Okay, my name is Kirill. And I think I should introduce my website, Dreamonicle.com. It is about dream interpretations. It is rather unique because my aim was to give only the inspiring interpretation, only positive interpretation for any dream you had. So it was rather hard work. Sometimes some dreams are very hard to interpret in a positive way, in an inspiring way, but I tried to. And also my main business, how I make money, is table game studio. It is called warzonestudio.com. You can find it on the internet. It is related to table games, to table war games with miniatures, with small soldiers, small tanks. And it was my idea 9 years ago to produce a portable gaming mats for such games. And it is my main business now. That's how I earn.
Very nice. Yes. That's very cool. I like it. So you've got Dreamonicle.com and warzonestudio.com. And I'm going to put both of these links in the description down below so people can find you very easily. And we'll link up to your Instagram and we'll get that going. So yeah, our friend Kirill is here to share a dream with us, and we're going to do the normal thing. I'll throw it over to you. Start the dream at the beginning, and we'll go through it and see if we can figure it out together. So I'm ready when you are.
Okay. So, as I think now I should tell you what dream I had. It was a surprising dream for me because it was the first time when I had a kind of prophecy dream, when I saw the future. So let's start from the beginning. I was walking in my town where I live now. And it was looking not as it is in real, but it was a kind of my town of future, my town from a parallel universe. I mean, a better version of my town. So there were some buildings of white stones. There were some historical buildings, and in fact we don't have those buildings near a river here. Anyway, I was walking there, and I was in a good mood. It was a kind of good dream, so I felt all right, and I passed near a river, and I saw a church. It is not a real church. We don't have this church in our town, but it was a church, and I saw my grand aunt near it with a candle, свеча. I should be correct. Yes. My grand aunt holding a candle near church. Though I should say she's Muslim, she's not Christian. So it was rather strange that she was near a church, but anyway, I saw her and she was in tears. She was crying, and after that, I started to feel myself crying too. I crying too, and I woken up in tears. So I woke up and my pillow was wet. So I was actually crying at those moments. So this is the main part of my dream that is worth mentioning. After that, the same day, I decided to call my mom to chat a bit, to hear her voice, and slightly I asked about my grand aunt. So I didn't ask her about is it all right, is she all right, or what happened to our grand aunt. I just asked how she is, and my mother said that grand aunt is all right, in fact. But at the moment when I had this call, no, it was not exactly at the day when I had this dream, but it was the next day. And after that, my mother said that my give me a moment, I should translate. My great uncle left us. He died in hospital. It was a shock for me because I had this dream before he died, and sure before I knew he died. So that was my dream. Sure, my great aunt was crying those days, sure. And this is the way how I connected to her mood, how I felt her through the distance, because I live in another town now. My mother and my great aunt are in different town now. So this is my dream. Sure, I had some ideas about how such dream came to me, and that is the reason why we are talking now. Maybe you also have your versions of how people can feel each other through the distance, and I hope to talk to you about such dream.
Absolutely. Okay. That's very good. So that was part of a larger dream. You said there was a little before, maybe a little after, but that was the important part.
This is the only part I remembered.
Okay.
So I think
nothing we can do about the stuff you don't remember. Yeah.
Yes, sure. I think I saw something before, but the main part was this my town of future, and my great aunt in tears. So I think these are the most relevant parts of the dream.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely. And what I do is I go through, so I'm making my notes, and just I tore the paper very nice and neat. That always makes me very happy. I hate it when there's a little chunk. And here comes the cats. Okay, so for my process, listen to the dream, don't interrupt, write down as many details as I can, and then we go back a second time and try and get more details. What I need, I think what both of us need, what I've discovered, the process of getting into the dream and seeing it, for you seeing it again, and for me actually seeing it kind of through your eyes for the first time, helps me connect to what you're thinking and feeling and put those find the right suggestions for what things could mean. So if we go back to the beginning, look at my notes here. You said you start walking in this town that you kind of immediately recognize is different, and the sense you got from it is that this is in the future.
In the future, or in the parallel universe.
You mentioned that, like a parallel universe. So what made you feel that? What was it about what you saw or felt that made you think this is not the real world that I know, but this is a slightly different world that's similar? How did you get that idea?
Because I know the place where I was walking in a dream. I know this place. It is near Volga. It is a bank shore of Volga in Tver, and it was there was a lot of open space on it. So there was a big square, and we don't have this square. We just don't have so many free space in that part of city. It is smaller, in fact, but in my parallel universe, it was larger, and it was spacious. It was roomy, and there were some historical buildings of the period that. So I saw some historical buildings from, I think, 16th century, and we don't have such old buildings in Tver, in that place.
Okay.
There are some historical buildings, but they are a kind of 8th century, so they are a little bit more modern than I saw in my dream. So it was a kind of historical part of building saved from. It was more ancient, because I understand it is a typical Russian architecture of 16th century, a kind of that. And we don't have such buildings really in that part of city. And also. It was looking nice. It was nice. Buildings were shining. All of them were white, and they were kind of brand new. So they looked too perfect to be real.
Okay.
Hope you get me.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I think that's also an important element. When you think of these buildings that were in your dream and did not exist in that actual space, do you recall specific types of buildings? I know you mentioned one of them was a church that isn't there, but what were some of the other ones?
I can exactly say that there was fortress wall, a kind of fortress wall near the river, and we don't have this wall, in fact, because the fortress of Tver was destroyed by Ivan the Terrible during the wars between Tver and Moscow.
Okay.
So there is no Kremlin in Tver now. It was destroyed, and it was in my dream. And also, I think this roomy place should be also mentioned. It is important too, because it gives a kind of another impression of place. I hope you understand me.
I do, yeah. And to have things, and we'll get into this more later, but there's definitely something to this idea that it's a place you know, but it's different. And it's different in specific ways, larger, more room. different buildings, a different look to the buildings. I think each of those elements is trying to say something to you about how you're thinking of the concept you're exploring in the dream. So yeah, definitely. I mean, if something appears exactly as it is in real life, that means something. And if it appears different in a specific way, that means something else. So, well, hopefully we'll get there. Can't always figure out every element, but you mentioned the idea of a Kremlin. Does Kremlin translate to castle or fortress? Is that kind of what it means?
Yes.
Okay.
A Kremlin is a kind of it is fortress, exactly.
Fortress, gotcha. So I think later this month I'm going to be 44 years old, and I've always thought that was the specific title of just one building in Moscow, the Kremlin. But it's basically that translates to the fortress in Moscow. Is that specific building?
Yes. Moscow's Kremlin with red square is a kind of the biggest Kremlin. But it is not unique. We have Kremlins in Kostroma, Rostov, Veliki, Rostov the Great. We have Kremlins in Yaroslavl, a lot of Kremlins all over the central part of Russia. And if you will visit Russia, I recommend you to visit the Golden Ring of Russia. It is called so. Golden Ring of Russia is a circle of cities, towns all around Moscow, where historical parts saved in a proper way. There is a Kremlin in each town. There is sometimes in one city in Staritsa. Just imagine, Staritsa now has 15,000 population, only 15,000, and it has 4 fortresses inside it.
That is very cool.
It's a kind of garden of fortresses.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is one thing I love about talking to many people from around the world. Today, I get a history lesson. Everybody watching too. Things we don't know.
Hope it is interesting for you and your listeners.
Yeah, I'm interested, so it's going in the video, so you guys can just put up with it. I'm sure they love it too. So back to the actual dream imagery. You said there was a fortress wall, a type of Kremlin in this town that actually does not exist there. Were there other kinds of buildings that appeared to you that do not exist in real life?
Sure, there were other buildings. They look alike to those which are which are situated in this place. In fact, so they were very alike, but they were just better. They were
the
kind
clean,
of repaired,
white
new
stone. Also, these buildings that do exist. Okay.
Yes, there are buildings here, but they are slightly different, and they are not white. They are beige, brown, a kind of that.
Okay.
So other buildings were pretty similar to the real ones, but they were white, and I think they were taller.
Okay. And do you remember seeing specific kinds of building? Like there is a grocery store, there is a bank. What type of buildings were they?
Give me a moment.
Sure. If you don't remember, it's okay. If it stands out, it might be important.
I think I can remember a kind of cafe or lunchroom, a kind of lunchroom or bistro in the corner. But in fact, it is situated there in real world. So I don't think it is very important for Dream because we have it. In fact, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine. If nothing stands out, that's okay. There's something I do. I call it rattling doorknobs. Sometimes they come open, sometimes they don't. and when they don't, move on. But I do that a lot. I maybe ask irrelevant questions, or they don't pan out, so that's okay. You said you're walking by this fortress wall near the river, and that's kind of the first thing you remember is being in this larger open space. You're walking through your town, but it's different. And can you draw me a little bit of a picture of where you are in relation to the wall and the water?
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand. I think I should mention the cobblestone pavement on this square. And in fact, the river is not visible from my side. Okay. I know that it is behind the walls, but it is not visible in my dream. The first impression was a kind of, what a pleasure to be here again, to have a promenade here, to walk around and to feel the city, a kind of that. It was a pleasure to be there.
Yeah, you mentioned your feelings, and that's also very important. Everything is equally real and not real in the dream. Not real, it's happening in your imagination, but real in that everything that is in the dream, everything you see, hear, taste, touch, smell, all real, but also everything you think, everything you know, everything you feel is all real in the dream as well. So at this point, you're having very positive feelings. You're very happy to be where you are and happy to be taking this walk. I would imagine daytime, sun shining, clear blue skies. Did you notice?
Yes. It was a day. It was blue sky. Sun was shining. Yes, it was a pretty nice day. And I remember a wind, a kind of breeze was blowing to my face, and its freshness also was positive. It was nice for me.
Okay. And can you describe a little bit how you went from where you were walking, the open space and by the river, and how you came to the church? Because that seems to be the next most important detail. What was that process like?
Mm-hmm.
Any other people?
Give me a moment.
Sure.
I was moving from the center of city to the river, and I came to church, and church was a kind of part of fortress wall. It was a kind of built-in fortress in this fortress wall. This is the way. This is what I can remember. This is what can I remember, and I think I should also mention that this church appeared rather suddenly. So I was having a walk, and suddenly I noticed this church, and I decided to get closer. And then I saw my great aunt near it.
Okay. And to draw the picture in my mind a little bit, what am I trying to ask? You were saying that there was the kind of, the fortress wall, and you knew there was a river on the other side, and the church was built as attached to the wall, as a part of the wall. Yeah. Was the face of the church flush with the wall, or did the church stick out from the wall?
It was built in a corner of two walls connected.
Okay.
Yes, exactly in the corner. I remember it clearly. Yeah, okay. But it's hard for me to remind other details. You can ask, and maybe I will remind something.
Yeah.
But as for me, when I woke up, I was shocked by the main fact, and details were not so important for me.
We have another visitor here. Hi. Keep moving, son. Keep moving. No, this is why we go through the second time. You tell beginning to end, then we go again, and actually the process of having yourself put back into the dream helps pull out some of these more details. And you would say also the dream, don't hit the keyboard, son. Do not stop my recording, please. You would say also the church and the fortress walls.
Have some problem.
Oh, there is, yeah. That's okay.
I have a kind of communication breakdown. Can you repeat your last phrase?
Yes,
your last
yes.
sentence?
You went fuzzy for me too. I'm just going to make a note of the time. I'll cut this out, or at least fix that. Cece, come on.
Fatty boy.
Yeah, his name is Cotton Candy. Cotton Candy.
Cotton Candy.
Yeah, so we just call him Cece. I think my wife's mother named him when he was still a kitten and didn't know he was male. I'm not sure, but she just liked the name Cotton Candy, so his name is Cece now. So I was asking, the fortress wall and the church also made of this newer, clean, bright stone?
Yes, exactly. Both walls of fortress and the church were brand new, kind of that.
And also that clean white stone.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And do you happen to recall where the sun was in relation to this corner where the church existed at the corner where the walls meet?
I personally, I didn't see the sun. So it was clear for me that sun is shining somewhere, but this yellow ball was not visible for me.
Okay.
And it was situated, I think sun was hiding beside the church. Sun was back of church.
Okay. So the church, when you think of it in your memory, it cast a shadow towards you? You had to walk towards the shadow of the church? Okay.
Yes, church was the front side of church was in a shadow because sun was behind this church.
Okay.
Kind of that.
That's a good example of one of those details that you probably didn't even remember until I asked. So
okay.
Yeah.
If you can find some meaning in this detail, it will be very interesting for me, really, because I think you have experience in such things, and it will be a great pleasure for me to hear it. Maybe you will find something in my dream, which will help me.
Yeah. So when you see the church, and what do you feel at that moment when you see it? Because you're drawn towards it, you want to go there. Do you remember having a thought or feeling when you first became aware of it?
Yes, exactly. When I saw the church, the first moment I haven't noticed my great aunt. I only noticed church. It appeared rather suddenly because there is no church in this part of city. But the first intention was to visit it, to see how it looks inside. And to be honest, I think I have a kind of I have a feeling that I saw this church from inside. But I can't give you the exact moment when I entered. I don't remember, but I think I was there. I think I visited it.
Okay, that might have been a later portion of the dream that's a little fuzzy.
Maybe.
But even just having that feeling that you see the church, you are drawn towards it. It's not something you wanted to run away from. It's something I want to see inside. And then even later, or just having that gentle idea of, I have been inside. I did go inside.
I have a picture in my mind of how it looks inside, but I don't. I can't remind the moment when I entered. I just have this picture how it looks from inside.
Fair enough.
And that's all.
Is it an image you can relate to something you have seen before, or does it not remind you of anything specific? Is it generic church, pews, cross, or is it specific?
Okay. Yeah. To be honest, it looked. I can't say that it looked like, but I have the feeling that it was inspired by the Duomo from Milan of Italy. I mean, are you familiar with Duomo in Italy?
It sounds familiar. I don't know that I have a specific memory of. Is it like? Was that where the ceiling was painted by one of the Renaissance artists?
No,
not that one.
It isn't. It is situated near the famous district in Milan where a lot of fashion brands are situated. In fact, it is a main seaside in Milan.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. And that's so that's what it looked like on the inside. Now that you think of it, did the outside look like that building?
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
It looked absolutely different. And also, I can remember, give me a moment.
Sure.
There were some tapestries or arrases hanged in church, and it is not typical for Orthodox churches. It is more typical for Catholic.
Okay, yeah, Catholic.
Yes. It is more typical for Catholic churches. This is a scene I can remember very clearly, and the external view of church was it was a typical small church, small Russian Orthodox church, and
okay.
I can even say that it was not a church, but I can't remind the correct word for it, but a kind of small church.
Okay, that was also going to be my question. How big did it appear on the outside? Small, but on the inside, it felt much bigger?
It felt much bigger, yes.
Okay. That might be, you see me taking all these notes. That might be important too, because so not unusual in dreams, something impossible, bigger on the inside. Can't happen physically, but in your mind, what this represents may be something familiar, small, you say maybe, Orthodox church on the outside, inside, large Catholic looking space, tapestries. So there's something about those two ideas put together. We'll come back around to it, but that's the kind of thing I go, I want to make a note of that. So we'll see what we get. And
thanks for your question, because if you haven't asked, I think I will completely forgot it next week or next 2 weeks.
For sure. And that's how I developed this process too, is like, first my memory's terrible. I write everything down, but just hearing it described once, it's good. I need that basic framework. And then I got to really kind of see it. What am I looking at? What are you looking at? And then I can try and see what you see. And then we can try to figure it out. So this whole middle part is critical. I couldn't do what I do without asking all these questions. It would just be impossible. I have no idea what's going on till I can see it myself. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for putting up with all the questions. So I wanted to get back to there was a sequence of events. You see the church, you're drawn to it, and we went on a little tangent. It's perfect. And you notice that it's casting this shadow, and it's only when you get closer that you notice your great aunt is there. And where is she standing? She's in the shadow near the door. She's by the wall. Where is she? What do you see?
She was standing right aside the door, out of church. She was standing right near the door. This is the way she was standing sideways. I mean, not directly
off to one side
near the enter, but a kind of slightly aside.
Yeah. Do you remember? Was she on the other side of the door from you, or was she on the same side of the door as you?
Yes, she was on the same side.
So
she was out of church.
Out in front of the church, and you would have to say pass by her to go in through the front door.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
If I wanted to go to church, I will definitely move near her.
Okay. Do you remember if the door was open, or what?
Yes, it was.
The door was open. Do you remember what kind of door it was? Could you see that, or just that the opening was there?
No. I haven't. I haven't seen this door because it was opened, and there was a kind of. When you are looking from street to building, when you are looking on building, doors are always a kind of black. It is too dark inside to see something when you are outside and you are blinded by the light.
Yeah.
So there was no door, and this doorway was black because it was too dark inside to see something. I hope I gave my idea clearly.
Yes, very good impression. So at the, and the door, you would describe it had opened in, so it wasn't out, it wasn't standing out, so you couldn't see it. It was
opened inside.
Okay.
And I can even say that there was no door at all because I
couldn't see one.
I have no idea. Yeah, there was no door at all. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. And what was your feeling immediately on seeing her, your great aunt, standing by the door? Did your emotions change from pleasant walk to something else instantly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My emotions changed drastically. In fact, the same moment I saw her, I burst in tears. Yes, my emotions changed drastically.
Okay. And that was even before you got close enough to see that she was also crying?
Yes, okay. Exactly.
And then you walk same pace, approach her, or did you get close to her at all? What do you remember?
Yes. I got closer to her to see her face and to see the details, to see her candle. Okay. This is the way.
Do you remember how she was dressed? Anything specific? Any different than in her normal life?
I can mention that she was wearing a kind of winter style, but I can't exactly say that it was cold because in my dream it was. I can't remember the frost. Give me a moment.
It's okay. Yeah, because just because clear blue sky, sun doesn't necessarily mean summertime. It could have been,
yes,
but you don't. But you do remember that you were comfortable. It was pleasant walking. There was a breeze in your face, so it does suggest maybe warmer weather. Interesting that she is dressed for winter weather. I don't know what that means, but that is interesting. That's why I ask. Yeah. Sometimes the clothing people appear in says something about what you're thinking.
Yes, exactly. She was weared warmly. I mean, warmly for winter.
Yeah.
And I felt okay, but I can't remember how I was dressed. How I was dressed.
Fair enough.
But her dress up, одежда. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Her clothes were looking like her real clothes. She was dressed up like the way she dresses up in her real life.
Okay. That is good to know whether that's the same or different. So, the candle, do you remember size, shape, color? She held it in one hand or the other or both hands at the same time?
She held it in two hands, like this way.
Okay.
And she held it right near her chest, kind of this way. And
sure.
Her head was slightly nodded down, tilted down, kind of that. I hope I use correct words.
Yes, I can see it. Very, yeah, that kind of tilted down.
Yes.
Crying, maybe almost at like a representation of praying. Did you get that feeling?
She looked like terribly sad person. So she was not praying, but she looked terribly sad, and she was not crying. I mean, she her tears were running down, but she make no voice of crying.
Okay.
I hope you understand me.
Yes, quietly tears,
yes.
not weeping, wailing,
yes.
sobbing. Yeah. Okay, so she was kind of composed. Someone is calling me from Ohio. That is nobody I know. Pew, go away. Do you remember having any interaction with her? Did you go up and speak to her, ask her questions, or did she say anything to you? You say anything to her?
No. We didn't say anything to each other, and to be honest, when I came closer to her, my mood changed. So my mood turned into
emotion words hard to translate. Yeah.
Terribly sad. Yes, I was terribly sad, and I felt my tears are running, and I had just no enough power to talk to her.
Okay. And did you do anything? Did she perform any behaviors? Did anything happen after that moment?
No, to be honest, I should say no, absolutely no, because this is the last frame of my dream.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I can only say that I saw the interior of church. Somehow I visited this church, but I can't remember that after I met my great aunt, I moved to church. No, okay. I never went to church after seeing her. I just woken up.
Okay. Fair enough.
So that is how.
Yeah, and just to focus on that aspect of being inside the church, did you do anything there? Was there any people, behaviors? Did you go anywhere, do anything inside the church that you can remember?
No. There was no people. There was nobody inside.
I was also going to ask if there was any other people in the whole dream from the beginning of walking through the town to seeing your aunt. Any other people you can remember?
I completely understand your question. Give me a moment.
Sure.
Give me a moment. I can exactly say that it was not crowded. It was not crowded, but to be honest, in the beginning of this dream, I had a feeling that I am with my friend. I'm taking a walk with my friend, but I can't remember that somebody was near me, and I never saw him in this dream. Okay. But I had this feeling. And after that, I should say, I saw nobody except of her in this dream. Yes, that is a fact. That is a fact.
Okay. Yeah. And even if you could say, I don't know if I saw anybody else, that might be relevant too. That's as good as saying I didn't see anyone. I can't remember seeing anyone else, which gives its own, gives its own kind of impression as well. So yeah, that's I think that's all the content, and we've been back through it now twice in some great detail. So moving on to the third part. Now it gets interesting. What is all this stuff? Before I start making suggestions, I like to ask the dreamer if, in the process of giving those details, certain light bulbs turned on for you. Sudden understanding came, like, oh, when I saw that and that's what that means. So I like to ask first before I start putting ideas out. Did you have any moments like that? Moments of sudden understanding about any of the images or behaviors?
Yes. To be honest, I think we have something in common. We feel dreams. I think you understand your dreams pretty well too, the same as me. But now I see that you helped me to remind so many details that I never paid attention to. So when I woken up, sure, I understood that something happened to my great aunt. Something happened, and so about let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
The way that I felt when I was taking a walk. Is it the correct sentence, to take a walk?
Yes.
To take a walk. Okay. Okay. Because in Russia it has no sense. It's a kind of to take a walk. Okay.
Yeah. No. And it makes no sense in English either, but we understand the idea. It's like we say also to take a poop. You are not taking the poop. You're leaving it behind. It makes no sense, but it's what we say. Go ahead.
Okay. So this feeling when I was taking a walk with my friend or not, as I said, was the feeling of freedom, feeling of the moment. So that is a kind of the highest state that I felt sometimes. I feel sometimes. It was pretty. It was a pleasure to be there, and I was taking a walk. I was. Give me a moment.
Sure.
I was enjoying my city. I was enjoying my city, and my state was. I am familiar with this state of mind.
Yeah.
The city in my dream looked like a city from a parallel universe. I think it is the way that I want Russia to look like, because Russia is a kind of third-party country in the world.
Yeah.
So this is the city of my dream. How I want my city to look like. all those roomy squares, white walls. This is how I want it to be. So it is not a question for me why I saw it. My imagination just built what I want to. And also I should say that sometimes when I see something from the distance, or when I see something from my side view, I mean unfocused view from a side, sometimes I see things and my imagination or my perception transforms it into something maybe I want it to look like, or sometimes I even think that I see something from parallel universe. I'm not kidding. It might be. So sometimes fallen trees look like a kind of elven ladder, and so I hope you get my idea.
Yeah, that's very cool.
This is this is the reason why my city of my dream was look like that.
That was my first thought too. Is that it might be just the idea of that aspiration, future, hope for a better future, that things will go from what I know is kind of drab, maybe run down, to we rebuild it, we build it better, we build it beautiful. That's one very, very powerful idea in there as well. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I also felt it afterwards, sometime later. And when I moved closer to my great aunt, I was not surprised to see her. And I felt that she's pretty sad, and it happens when you connect to another person. So it's an empathy.
Yeah, you feel
the correct word.
Feel their sadness, and it makes you sad to see them suffer. Yes. Yeah.
And this feeling grabs you and plunge you into their feelings.
Yeah, definitely.
But to be honest, I had no idea why I saw her.
This might be a good time to ask about your relationship with family. Is this a person you see frequently, or you used to see them a lot, now you don't see them anymore? How close to this person are you? Yeah.
Okay, a good question. It's a good question. So my great aunt, when I was a child, when I was living in my native town, which is situated 2 hours away from my current location, it's yes.
Can you hear me now?
I will wait a little
for
video to recover. Yeah, I see the cat is moving. Okay.
Good deal.
Video.
You were just starting to describe. Now you live 2 hours away, and then it got funky. So if we hit that again.
Yes. So, but when I was a child, for some time I was living near her. For some time, me and my mother visited her. Sure. So, in fact, I have a good relationships with her. Though it is not my grandmother, it is my great aunt. So I can say that that last 10 years I saw her frequently. Maybe I saw her once a year, or yes, a kind of that, once a year. Yes, but I should mention that near a month ago, my mother told me that her husband, husband of my great aunt, so
great
my
uncle,
great uncle.
Yes.
He has diabetes. How to say?
Oh, in English, diabetes.
Diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And his diabetes was pretty bad. So his condition was pretty bad. So it is not a diabetes when people live for years, they use special drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So his state was a kind of really bad.
Okay. So your mind was kind of primed to know he is sick. He could die at any time, but
yes.
But this is not for me to say discount the possibility of, as you say, the prophetic dream, possibly seeing the future. So I will say just very quickly though that my understanding of lucid dreaming, where you can be aware in your dream, and potential visionary or prophetic dreams is very limited. I don't personally understand those very well. So my focus is not on those things, but I don't make fun. I don't ridicule. I don't dismiss possibility. It is very strange to me. You have this dream very soon after he dies. Coincidence?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Coincidence?
No.
I don't know.
This dream was 2 days. Exactly. I can exactly say this dream was 2 days before he died.
Yeah.
2 days before.
I cannot say, I cannot say this has meaning. This does not have meaning. I don't know. That's very fascinating. I don't know what to say. Wow. This is all I can say. So
I think it's worth mentioning that there was information in my mind that her husband is pretty bad now.
Mm-hmm.
His sugar was near 22. If you are familiar,
super low. 100 is good. 22 very bad. Upwards of 200 also very bad. Yeah.
So I just remember it was 22. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if in USA there might be difference, because maybe sugar is measured in a different way in USA because of kilograms. But as I know, 22 in Russian metrics, it is pretty bad sugar.
Yeah. Well, anything under 50 or 60, you could start getting fuzzy cognition. Can't think clearly because the brain runs on sugar, and if the sugar in your blood drops too low, your brain cannot work very well. So 22 can kill you. Yeah.
Yes, her husband was like a child.
Yeah. With your blood sugar that low, that's what happens. Yeah, very confusion, disorientation. Don't know who you are, where you are, who other people are. Very, very. Looks a lot like dementia. So it can be confused for that because the presentation, or someone low oxygen, also confused in the same way. Very, very similar presentation, what they look like from the outside.
And also he had a stroke. He had a stroke several years before, and this sugar plus stroke gives pretty bad results. So he was disoriented, but anyway, he lived. He lived all right, and I should say he was even not in a bad mood.
Okay.
So he was like a child, but it was not a problem for him, I should say.
Okay. That is good. Yeah. I mean, we don't want anyone to suffer. If you're going to be confused, you might as well be happy. Why not?
Yes.
That's good. I think that says a lot maybe about who he was, in general as a person, that even in a confused state of mind, he's not angry, mean, but happy, pleasant. That's good.
Yes,
it's very nice to hear.
I think it's about him. Yes, I think it's about him. So when I saw my great aunt in my dream, I haven't reminded that her husband has problems with health. No way. I saw her emotions. I burst in tears.
Yeah.
Only after that, when I woken up, I started to think what happened, and no, I should say, even after the moment I woken up, is it correct?
Yeah.
After the moment I woken up, I saw that something happened to her, not to her husband.
Yeah.
So I lived the day. Then this day gone. It was Monday. Second day gone. Second day, Wednesday.
Oh.
And only on Tuesday. Sorry, it's always hard to remember day of the week.
It's okay. Yeah. As I said, your English is better than my Russian.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
And at Monday gone. And the day after Monday, I decided to call my mother. I decided to call her at Wednesday.
Very nice.
I decided to call her and to talk a little about it, and I just decided to mention about my great aunt, and I decided not to go straight ahead, like what happened with great aunt, because to be honest, I don't really believe into prophetic dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take them as absolutely true, but it may take place. So I decided to talk about her name. Her name is Nuria. It's a Tartar name. Are you familiar with Tartars, this nation?
I have heard of it before, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. Don't remember, yeah.
Yes. It's a kind of second big nationality in Russia, Tartar.
Okay, yeah.
A kind of Russian Mongolian.
Okay.
A kind of that. They are related a little.
All right.
Okay. And I decided to talk about her name, that I know a girl which name is Nuria too, and but she's Spanish, and we talked with my mother a little, and my mother give me a moment, let me
sure.
remind her how it was. Let me remind how it was. Oh, I should tell you,
mm-hmm.
I called my mother the same day I saw this dream, and I talked a little about this name, Nuria. We had this chat, but nothing special. And after 2 days, I decided not to tell my mother about this dream, because it is a rather sad dream about her relative. And I decided to be silent about it. And after 2 days, we had a chat again. And this day, mother told me just the same moment, "Oh, son, I should tell you, your great aunt, your great uncle is dead now. He left us." And the same moment I said, "Mother, oh, do you remember I talked with you about Nuria?" And I told my mother about this dream. it surprised her. So that's how it was. I don't know if we should go into details.
Well, yeah, and I don't know what to make of that either. It's absolutely possible there is some psychic connection that we don't understand that allowed you to feel that this was coming, or feel her sadness because she knew it was coming. That's entirely possible. It's just something we haven't been able to demonstrate scientifically in a way that can be repeated reliably. And when we do that, then we'll know better. But right now it's just a guess. Maybe that happened. Maybe it's a pure coincidence. I don't know. But I'm open to all kind of possibilities. So my specialty though is to look at, say, the dream symbols. So for her, your great aunt, what I would want to know is how you think of her, as a wise elder, as someone to aspire to be like, as someone who meant something specific to you in terms of how she contributed to your life. Did she teach you things that helped make you successful? What was your experience of her? Yeah.
My relationships with her. Okay. I think that she is a strong woman because she always took care about her. Give me a moment. About her grandchildren, about her great-grandchildren, about her son, about even when he was grown up, she was taking care of him, and she worked a lot. So she was a strong woman. That's what I can say. And her mind was always, even when she was old, her mind was clear. That's what I can say.
Yeah. Did you always think of her as a very smart person, someone you could ask and get good answers from?
To be honest, my relationships with her are not too close. Sure. Because in fact, she was a sister of my grandmother. I think I told you about my vision of her.
Yes.
And I can say that she never taught me for something. Okay. I think she even never took care of me because I had my own grandmother, I had my mother,
sure.
And there was no problem. But she always had a lot of, home deals with her grandchildren, with her son, and so on.
You say so that's what dealing with her own home responsibilities.
Yes, okay. Exactly.
Yeah, and it isn't necessary that you had a close relationship, that you saw her every day, but there's something she, I believe, represents in your mind. She is an ideal form of something. And I'm wondering if it's okay to ask if you are currently in a relationship. Do you have a girlfriend, wife?
Wife, yes, I have a wife. Yes.
Okay. When you think of that, would you want your wife to be like your great aunt in some ways? I mean, dealing with home responsibilities successfully, taking care of large family. When you think of those two ideas together, your wife being similar to her in some way, does that?
No.
Okay.
I should say.
Maybe I'm on the wrong track there. Sometimes we have. The reason I ask, sometimes we have ideas of people and we appreciate, look up to certain behaviors or attitude or accomplishments of those people. And we say, I would hope my other close people achieve great things like that other person did. So that was my thought, is that maybe she's in there representing something you would want for yourself, for your family. I don't know if there's a connection there in any way. It doesn't have to be your wife specifically.
I have one idea about it, but give me a moment.
Sure. Yeah. I'll take a sip of coffee. Oh, now's a good time to say, hey, I wrote a book. There it is. I wrote 2 books. There's 2 books out now. This is the only one I have a physical copy of. So there we go. Great time to do a little self-promotion.
Yes, I love the style of your books. They look very classical. I love this style.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I stole old paintings and put them on the cover because I'm not going to get any copyright strikes for stealing an old painting. So it gives it a little color and makes it more interesting. I've got just a little teaser. I've got six more books coming. I got a 3-book series coming next, and then 3 more after that. I'm working on it. It's taking forever. So, but anyway, back to you.
I have an idea about you.
Yes.
About your question. I mean, about your question.
Yeah.
You talked about some part of her personality. I want to be presented in another person which is near me. But to be honest,
or yourself,
I should.
Or yourself. Yeah.
Or myself. To be honest, I can say the opposite. She had to work too much. She had too much troubles. She had too much care about her children, about her great children. That this kind of, as for me, we should live lightly. We should live like a fresh breeze, without problems. Without headache, we should live easily. But she was not. I hope I gave you this idea.
I think that is very important too. So actually, what she seems to represent, or the idea of her, is someone who suffered too much, too many problems, too much responsibility. Yes. She did it well, and she gave a lot of herself, and she did a good job, but you don't wish that upon other people for them to be burdened in that way. So that idea might be important as the ending of the dream. So we've got these two places you went in the dream, or the beginning and end. Beginning, the bright, fresh breeze, fresh looking stone, aspirational future city, my city, but it's beautiful. It's better. There's things that haven't even been built yet because they're coming. The future is going to be good. And it takes you by this wall. And I wanted to get into this too, that the wall separates you from the river. And this wall is there in your dream, but not in real life. But where the wall meets the other wall in the corner is a church, and she's outside, sad, you cry and wake up. So it goes from very happy, bright, positive to looking at this iconic representation of struggle, trouble, too many burdens, making sadness. I think there's something we're heading towards there. When you think of that journey in the dream, does anything come to mind?
Yes. I understand. You are quite right. It was big contrast between the first part, when I had a walk, and when I met my great aunt. Yes, you are right. It's like from high state to but I can't exactly say that that it was bad. I can say that it was bad because people lost people, and it is reality. It is normal, in fact. So I can't say that it is bad, but it was sadness. Yes, it was. Maybe she symbolized all these struggles, all this hard way of life, because she lived in difficult times in Russia, because she was when USSR was splitted in pieces. she was too old to take a new way of life.
Mm-hmm.
She was too old to be, how to say, to suit new way of life. I hope, is it clear enough?
I think so. Yes. She, maybe to say it was difficult for her to change with the times, to take on a new way of living. Yeah.
Yes, because she was already too old to rebuild herself.
Yeah.
And she had too much. She had children, and she had to care about them. Times changed a lot, and she had no good education. In fact, she was a woman from a village in the center of Russia, so I can't even say that she finished school, because it was a kind of normal for village people those days not to finish school. I don't even know if she had finished school.
Yeah, more usual to just start working with family to survive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We have great luxury today. We can send kids to school for 25 years before they actually have to start doing anything. And I did that myself. So hopefully I'm making good on that investment. But it is a luxury. We didn't have that 100 years ago. Almost impossible. I mean, rich people maybe could let their kids do that, but now it's like everybody. Wow, big change. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So she had to pass a lot of difficulties during her life, and I think, she left no room for herself to live, to enjoy life. A kind of that. She was too busy with all her care, with all her solicitudes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
She was too busy. So that is what I can't even wish for my family, for you or me, for nobody.
Yeah. So when I ask, do you want your wife to be more like her? You think, I don't want my wife to go through that. Of course, I understand perfectly. Even if the qualities she represented, your great aunt, were very positive, too much struggles. My question to you then would be, are you lately experiencing, what do I want to say? The idea that came to my mind was successful business with a bright future, but very difficult struggles currently that you're having to work through. Is something going on in your life lately, last few weeks or month, or where you have high hopes for the future, but you see difficulty coming that you know you're going to have to get through? Am I onto anything there? I don't know.
Give me a moment.
Sure.
Maybe you are right. Maybe that's what I felt those days. Some business troubles came, and I just had to solve it. Because I must. And maybe that was a reason why I saw her in my dream. I can't exactly say. So I hope I answered your question.
You did, yeah. And it's either you get the feeling, yes, that means something. That's a good connection, or it's I don't know. You gotta feel it. There's that moment of, oh yeah, that. If you don't get that moment, maybe I'm not on the right track. That's okay.
No, in fact, I don't have such troubles which are putting me in so sad mood. So
okay,
I should say my troubles are just ordinary, everyday business troubles.
So in real life, the difficulties you face, manageable, not stressing you out. You're able to deal with it. It's not overwhelming. It like for her. Do you worry to the future that maybe some big difficulties will come, that you will face what she did someday? Does that weigh on your mind ever? Or
I remember. I understand you. I understand your question.
Might be relevant, might not. I don't know.
To be honest, when I think of her life, when I think of life of my other relatives and grandparents, I think, oh my God, such a great luck not to pass through all their troubles.
Mm-hmm.
So they had life full of work, full of efforts, which were not, as for me, which were not paid for.
Okay. Yeah.
I hope you understand.
Yeah.
Because it was a Soviet Union. All of them were working. All of them were spending their time, their life, just to earn living, to have a place to live in. Because in my life, I can exactly see I can see the profit of each of my idea. I can think, oh, this thing is not worth doing at all. Oh, this business is all right. It will work. I have this possibility, and I think, oh my God, I have all these possibilities, and all my grandparents, they hadn't. This is what I feel.
Good.
I can.
It's a good description.
It like that.
Yeah. No. I get perfect. I get exactly what you're saying. So you might have seen what we did there, going through some wrong questions first, or wrong guesses on my part. So this is not current. So sometimes the only way to do this is to eliminate ideas that don't work. Sometimes I get lucky and I get the right idea on the first time. But so for this one, we were looking at, this is not a dream representing anxiety or stress over current problems. This is not a dream looking at a future where you fear bad things will happen. So we've eliminated those two things. So what are we kind of left with is the idea that you are, as the beginning of the dream says, when we're talking about that journey, this idea of very bright, positive, happy hopes for the future. Not only that, you can see it in front of you. It's happening. You're in it. And in the back of your mind still is this great, I would say, gratefulness that you are not having these struggles that they did. So in your happiness, you're still thinking of your ancestors and their struggles and how they brought you to this place and what they went through and their sadness. And that makes you sad to think of their struggles. Does that make more sense?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And I feel it not only about my great aunt. I mostly feel it about my father, about my mother, maybe. So this feeling is I am familiar with. So I have something, I have possibilities, but how my father and my mother they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
So You are absolutely right. Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much. We just had to ask all the wrong questions first to get to the right feeling. And are you also looking for ways to give back to them? Is that on your mind, to say take care of them as they took care of you? Is that something you struggle with? How do I show my respect for these sacrifices?
Yes, sure, yes. Yes, I always try to help them. But sometimes it's difficult because to help someone to be happy, and it is not a question of money or some kind of physical help. It's a question of how the main thing is to make someone to be happy, to make someone think in a kind of in a positive way, to see new beginnings, to see new ways of living, and it is rather hard to help your ancestors this way, because they are old, rather old. They are older than you. I mean, me is
all of us.
their son, and in Russia we say the egg shouldn't teach the
chicken.
Chicken, yes. Chicken. The egg shouldn't teach the chicken.
I love that. It's a great saying. unless you find something new, there's always exceptions, but it's a good general rule. The chicken is going to know a lot more, lived a long time, much more experience, good understanding of the way wisdom flows from those who know a lot to those who know nothing. And then eventually you become the chicken and you have new eggs and you can pass that along. So, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
I think the dream shows a very, very deep caring for your family and for their health and their happiness and wanting their lives to be good and maybe in some ways wanting them to be able to see this, to share your vision as a way of sharing feelings. Like you can see this positive, bright stone, new built future in your dream. And you've got some people that it's a little difficult to, because we can't just
to show them this.
To have them see what you see really and to feel it and to understand it. So that's
what I'm trying to do. And it is pretty hard for to teach the chicken.
Yeah, it is. And I think there's something in there too with, so what is, a wall, and there's a wall separating your town from the river, and it's in the dream where it is not in real life. And walls they can be, well, they're barriers. They are a separator. It's a dividing line between two things. And that can be good. It keeps bad things out, or it can be bad. It keeps good things from getting in or keeps you from getting out. There's a lot of different ideas that a wall can represent. And when you think of it that way, the idea of this, the intersection of two walls, the corner is a church and you're separated from the river. Do those ideas come together in any way as it represents walls, barriers? Yeah.
As for me, no, I would prefer this wall not to be. I mean, it will be better if there was no wall in my dream. That's how I feel. Because our main river is behind, and I want to see it. I want to go to dive into it. Maybe I want to drink from this river. So it's always a kind of water is always a symbol of life energy, of where life came from. That's how I feel. So this is my feeling about this wall.
Yeah, and that is very important. So in the context of the dream, there is you've put a barrier there. Why did your mind show you a barrier between you and the river? in the context of this understanding of sharing your vision of a bright future with elders who have suffered much. Does anything come to mind with that idea of what maybe there's? Oh, well, it just came to my mind. You're having difficulty sharing your vision with people, and there's this barrier between you and your ability to see the river. Maybe there's something there of like you feel like there's a struggle, a barrier, there's a resistance or something keeping your vision from reaching the people you want to inspire and make happy. Is there something there?
I feel that this wall is a barrier. Sure, I feel it, but I can't exactly say
a barrier to what?
What I think about it.
Yeah.
What I think, it's hard for me to interpret it.
Yeah.
Maybe it may mean a kind of, hey guy, stay here for some time. Just look around. Stay here for some time.
Yeah.
That's maybe the idea that I have on the idea.
No, I think you might be onto something there too. As I said, barriers can keep out bad things. They can also focus our attention and say, look here, this is the important part, right there. Maybe that what you need to focus on or what you feel is important is within this space. Don't worry about the other stuff for now. Kind of helping you focus, concentrate. Does that make sense?
Yes, maybe because so I had some experience in photography. I was working like a photograph. And if I build this scene, if there was no wall, too much attention will go away. Attention will be give me a moment. Attention will be scattered around.
Yeah.
And for this scene, for this church, for my great aunt, we should be focused on it. Maybe wall in this dream is created to I hope you understand.
My thought is to frame the picture, show you what's inside and not outside. So yeah, that could be a very positive interpretation of the wall. This is what's important here now. So look at that and don't worry about the other stuff. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good understanding of the wall. And it doesn't mean it's always necessarily to keep other things out. Keep attention in, but also like even though, and it's interesting to me that you said you could not see the river, but even in your dream, it's there. So there's something important there too, I think, where the idea of this being mostly or more likely positive wall is that it's not keeping you from anything. It's not eliminating or excluding anything necessarily, because it's still there. You can go there anytime you want. But don't worry about that right now. So that makes a lot of sense too. Just that knowing the river is still there, even though you never saw it in the dream. Just knowing things is as real as seeing it in your dream. Yeah.
I understand you. So to know is like to see in a dream.
Absolutely. For sure. And just feelings, sight, sound, smells, but also just understandings, knowings. I ask a lot of people, it's like, well, how did you come to that? And people say, I just do it. There it is. That's your mind thinks, okay, here's a fact, move on. It just tells you something. You don't have to see it. You just know it. That's also very, very fascinating. One thing we didn't get into was the idea of your great aunt being Muslim, but being outside of an Orthodox church that was small, but on the inside a giant Catholic space. When you think of it from that kind of religious or belief structure idea, does anything come together about those three things being at the intersection of this wall? What comes to mind?
So let's start from why my Muslim great aunt was near Orthodox Church. So I thought a bit about it, but in fact, in total, her standing with a candle near Orthodox Church, that means a loss. A loss. It is a symbol of a loss of somebody for me, because usually we see Orthodox churches here and Orthodox ceremonies here in Russia. And it was not a surprise for me to see her near the Orthodox Church, because it is just a symbol in my head that's how I see funeral. That's how I see funeral, the church, people with candles, though usually people don't hang candles, but it is not so important. And she's Muslim, sure, but in my mind, it was just her, my great aunt, and a symbol of funeral put together. So no problem. And the next scene, why the Orthodox Church from outside was looking like a Catholic church in the inside.
It's a tough question.
Honest,
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say, but in fact, they are nearly the same. They have nearly the same meaning. In fact, they have the equal meaning.
Sure.
But maybe I visited some famous cathedrals in France, in Italy, and they are pretty huge. They are decorated they're decorated a lot. I mean, they look впечатляюще. They impressed me, and
impressive, beautiful.
Yes, and maybe it was my mind saved this picture, and in this case, my mind showed me this picture again. I think it works like that.
Yes, I think so. And that's, and then of course the question is, why that image? Why at that sequence of the dream, which it seems like this happened after? And a lot of times dreams, you'll say, experience one thing as a complete scene, and then there's just a cut, and now you're somewhere else, and there's no experience of travel. But that's irrelevant because they come up against each other. So it seems like the arc I was talking about from the beginning of the dream to the end is not necessarily from walking to seeing your aunt, but it actually ends inside this church that is the Orthodox Church, but inside it's the beautiful Catholic display. So it's going from a positive to hopeful future, better, brighter future, going past understanding, representation of great struggles, and ending in a place where the inside is beautiful. It's something you want to see. It's very well put together. There's an orderliness to it. There's a structure. There's I don't know what I'm trying to say. When you think of that arc of the dream, not ending with the aunt, but ending in the dream, does anything come to mind? I don't know if I'm expressing myself well.
So you mean you are trying to get some meaning through the structure of this plot, like a cinema plot of the cinema.
there's a completeness to the idea of the images in a dream, usually, where it takes us from the beginning of thinking about something to the end of our thoughts about that thing. So if we can kind of, it helps us see the, what am I trying to say? It's like
scenario kind of scenario of the dream.
Yeah, it's almost like you can looking at a map, and you look at it from a distance, and you can see the path, and the path itself has meaning as a start to finish. Not always, but there's very often there's something there. And it represents one complete idea that your brain's trying to process while you're asleep, because it just never stops trying to problem solve. So it's generally looking for, what do I think? How do I feel? How do I deal with this? What's going to happen to me in the future? How do I understand an idea better? So we may never get there completely. We may never see the whole map. But sometimes thinking of it in those terms as a complete idea, that you got to get to the final thought about that subject before you can make sense of the whole thing. Yeah. I'm throwing a lot of words at you. Sorry.
As for me, maybe this final scene with the interior of church may mean a kind of stillness, a kind of quietness, kind of
peace, calm,
a kind of calmness. Yes, kind of peace.
So maybe instead of talking so much, I could have asked you is how you felt being inside that space. And this is what you're saying. It's a peaceful, calm feeling.
Yes, a kind of that. So I can express it like, guys, things happen. You had a walk. You saw your great aunt in tears. Her husband left us. But the world is still standing. Look at this peace around. A kind of that. Look, there is a peace around, and don't worry too much. A kind of that. I can feel like that.
Okay, yeah. No, I think that's a great narrative for the dream. So positive view of a hope for a better future. You can see it happening. You know there will be struggles like other people have experienced, but at the end of it, at the end of your path, there will be this calmness. You'll get through the struggles on your journey towards the better future. Maybe that's what your dream is trying to say to you. This is how I feel now about my place in life. Very, very positive, hopeful, and that there will be peace and calm, even if there will be struggles.
Yes, in fact, my point of view is things happened. The only difference is your perception of things. So you shouldn't. You shouldn't be sad too much when someone is left because things happened. You shouldn't lose your head when everything goes like you want to. All our actions, all our emotions, they are nothing or nearly nothing in the whole structure of world. I mean, don't pay too much attention to give me a moment. Don't pay too much attention to disappointments. Feel the moment. I hope I explained how I can interpret it. The world is still standing. Don't lose your head. Don't be too disappointed. There is no meaning for it. I mean, no meaning to be disappointed. There is no sense to be disappointed. Something happened. Okay, it happened. To be honest, my point of view is, I should say, I never regret about those who gone. I mean, I never regret about those who dead, because they met their peace. They have peace now. They don't have troubles. They are not worried like you, for example. So as for me, I in this dream, in all this situation, I'm give me a moment. I am more worried about my great aunt than about my grand uncle, because he is dead. He has met his final peace. He is all right. In fact.
Yeah. His suffering is over.
His suffering is over, and my aunt is disappointed. He's sad. He feels bad. So in fact, I don't know. But when I will visit my family next weekend, I want to visit my great aunt to tell her that. To share my point of view with her, because I hope my point of view will help her to feel okay.
Yeah, you could even share this interview with her and let her know, hey, we talked about it and it meant a lot to you. And she might. I don't know how good her English is. Maybe get Russian subtitles.
Yes, maybe Russian subtitles will help her.
Yeah,
but I will definitely say about this interview and this dream, and I will try to share my point of view.
Yeah,
about her husband, that he has peace now.
Yeah,
it is okay
for sure. There's a saying that I remember. I don't know where it came from, but the idea that funerals are not for the dead; they're for the living. The dead are gone. The funerals is for us to be sad together and grieve, because. Those who have passed, they don't need it. They don't care anymore. They've left all the worldly troubles and the body behind. And I have a very similar feeling. So not that I don't become sad when I lose people. I cry when one of my cats dies. So I feel loss. But I also have that same understanding of it, is that like all those problems gone, not a problem anymore, and it's okay. It's okay. It's good actually that they're. It sounds cliche, in a better place. I think my religious understanding is very agnostic. I don't have a specific faith, but I don't think it's over when we die. But I think it is better. That's all I can say. I believe for sure.
Yes, I can even try to compare the state of, for example, give me a moment. Buddhist monks.
Yeah.
Yes, the state of Buddhist monks during their meditations with the peace that those who dead are feeling all the time. So as for me, it's the kind of similar thing.
Yeah,
no
me
worries,
too.
no thoughts. Only calmness, only peace. So that's what I want to.
Speaking of calmness and peace, I got two cats that are not being very calm and peaceful. Hey, leave her alone. We've got one. My boy Prince likes to chase the one we call daughter. She growls at him. Anyway, I mean, that's. Do you think we had a good talk? Do you think we got to a place where we explored it fully and we've said everything we want to say about it?
Oh, I am grateful for this conversation, because you helped me to recover a lot of things from my head that details of the dream that I have nearly forgotten, and you helped me. In fact, man, I am grateful. I appreciate your help.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate this conversation. It's a nice thing for me to talk with someone who is so far away, to share our thoughts. This was so interesting. I never expected it to be like that.
Right? And no, it's very happy for me too, because if you think recent history, America, Russia, not close friends, but you and me, we sit here today and we talk. We have a good conversation. I care about you. The feeling is mutual. You appreciate the help. I appreciate you being here. I want this for everybody. We all come together, every part of the world. We all talk to each other. We're all friends. Enough. All that nonsense, all that suffering in the past. I want to leave it behind too. This is beautiful. This is, I think, where it begins. This is how we do it. So I'm very happy to have you. I appreciate you too.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I wish you good luck with your books. I hope step by step your books will be more and more popular. You will get more and more audience, because
I hope so.
You are talented, and also I will try to help from my side, because I have to work on my audience too.
It's true. And, please mention again your websites and your business, all of it. Tell us again. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how we met with Benjamin is because of my book, Dreamonicle, and my website is Dreamonicle.com. So it is it is truly unique. There is no other dream interpreter like that. It consists of only positive dream interpretations. And I'm also a founder of table game studio called warzonestudio.com. We produce accessories for table games, and we do it all right. We have success. In fact, most of my customers are in the USA, so that's why I talk English. And I'm also happy to have ability to talk. I'm happy to know English just to talk with you, to be possible to have a conversation with so huge quantity of people all over the world. It is truly a miracle. So I'm trying to improve my English, and I learn French now to talk a lot with people from different places. So thanks for this conversation.
Very nice. And of course, all of these links are going to be down below. You can find them in the description on the video. And you can also find links to all my stuff. I got a podcast. I got some books out there. And yeah, that's it for this episode of Dreamscapes. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank our friend Kirill again for being here. And
thank you, Benjamin.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Thank you too. Bye.